I think that what Capcom is doing here is pretty cool. I mean, you have a free tournament with thousands of dollars in prize money that's basically run for the community, pretty much by the community. I mean, you know, you have Big E from NEC and Summer Jam and Winter Brawl, you know, so he has a lot of experience running community tournaments. So his company is handling the logistics here. Of course, we have I Play Winner and Team Spooky working together to produce the stream. Ultra David and James Chen are the commentators, so they basically have a lot of support from the community, which is totally the right way to do it, because if they would have tried to do it themselves without the community, I think I can think of several events that I've seen where that was not the case and they didn't go very well. So I think Capcom is making the correct moves in that regard. I believe Justin Wong is trying to take Street Fighter Cross second because he wants to win the car even though he doesn't know how to drive. Fun facts.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, actually. To be honest, when I saw that people were going to win a car, and I think $20,000 as well, I'm not 100% sure on that, but either way, whatever you win, it's a hell of a lot. And it's for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It's obvious that people are going to start playing the game again. And I wondered, do you think that will spur any type of resurgence with the community?
No. Too little, too late.
Okay.
The DLC fiasco, I think, was a huge turnoff to the casual fans. To the hardcore fans, I think, you know, everybody was not happy with the gameplay itself, as well as the gem fiasco, which is really frustrating. Because I think still to this day, the only tournament that I ever saw that used the gems and all the gems were allowed and everybody could pick whatever they wanted was the Cross Counter Invitational that we had right after the launch of the game. And I thought that went pretty well.
What do you think the game industry has to do? What do you think the games have to do to bring in new players?
That's a good question. I think that what the industry, well, I guess what has to happen in order for the community to grow at this point is the developers and publishers need to take more of a long-term view of the sales of the games. For example, a very popular mindset or model that is currently being used by lots of companies is develop the game, market it heavily at its release, and then however many units it sells is however many units it sells. I would argue that the amount of units that you sell at launch is only the beginning, because if you cultivate a community behind it, especially a competitive community, and the game is based around rewarding people playing in some regard. For example, maybe it's something trivial, like you get X number of points when X number of wins online, and you get a costume that you would have had to pay for otherwise. You know, take the League of Legends model, where you could either support, the game could either be supported via microtransactions, or it could be supported by people just grinding it out all the time. But I find that a lot of companies kind of take a short-sighted approach to it, and in my mind leave a lot of money on the table, especially when you consider producing content for fighting games or competitive games in general. I mean, obviously content is my business, so I see a lot of potential there. But when we talk with companies, we try to tell them that creating training content that is useful at launch is great, but creating training content consistently for players that are interested in it helps to keep elevating the level of competition and improves the overall knowledge base of the community, which in my mind means that there are more people that will care about it when it's being streamed, because there's more people out there that understand the game enough in order to be able to keep up when it's on. For example, a game like League of Legends, it's huge, but because I don't play it to any degree, like I don't care to watch it. But a game like, let's say, like football or basketball, I know enough to watch. So if there's something huge going on, then I'll watch it. These are the conversations that me and Spooky have all the time. But basically, if more effort can be put towards cultivating the community and more effort can be spent on, reaching new people with the streams and stuff, as well as educating the existing player base to make sure that there's really good resources for the players who do want to improve, because the guys that really want to improve, those are the guys those are like the next generation players, I mean, kids that are getting into it nowadays that are like in their late teens, early 20s, they have so many great resources now, but it's still really hard to find if you're not completely dedicated. In my mind, if I was publishing a game, I would want every single person that pays the money to buy it to have a great set of videos or written guides or whatever that tells you exactly how to play. There should never be any hidden knowledge, right? It should just be like, these are the rules, now create your own strategies for how to beat other people. It shouldn't be like, well, it's difficult for me to do a combo, or I'm not sure what an option select is, or do I even need to know what an option select is? So, I don't know, all those things. I think what would really help is if the developers and publishers would kind of form a symbiotic relationship with the content producers, rather than trying to fight against the content producers over certain things. I think it's to the point where once the game is released, it doesn't belong to the company anymore. It belongs to the people who play it and enjoy it. So if, for example, League of Legends, right, they will embed the streams into the client of the game, so when you turn on the game, you see, oh, there's a huge tournament going on. Well, no wonder there's 300,000 people watching the game. When you turn it on, watching the tournament, because when you turn it on, it's right there in front of you. So why don't we have that? When I turn on my Xbox, why don't I know that Team Spooky and I Play Winner are doing a stream? Why don't I know that like Cross Counter put out a new video? I don't know, it sounds like a lot of work, but at the same time, if all the work is put in, there's so much more potential.
Do you think the fighting game community is at its peak right now?
No, absolutely not. There are forces at work that are going to ensure to the highest degree that this is not the peak by any means. I mean, you have organizations like like IPL or MLG and GameSpot and Twitch and even Capcom itself, and everybody kind of, I think everybody thinks that it could be a lot bigger, which is something that we've known for years. So now it seems like the pieces, a lot of this stuff has been kind of brewing for quite some time, and maybe 2013 is like when things really start to take off. It feels like we're closer than ever to things really blowing up, but it's impossible to say how things will actually turn out because there's so many people that just don't know how all of this should be done. And the few people that do know sometimes aren't in a position to do it properly.
I think we can read between the lines on that one.